Continuous learning is
Mhm.
vital in both healthcare and athletics,
Mhm.
especially in what you do preventatively, because it's always changing, always moving forward, right? How do you approach learning and skill development in both your athletics and your professional side of life?
Professionally, informal as well as formal. So there
Right.
are the formal learning skill sets that I continue to acquire on a regular basis, not just to keep up my license, but also just to ensure that I am being the best leader possible and I'm navigating from a risk standpoint. Then I'm thinking about informal. So I'm such a curious person. I want to learn, I want to experience. So informally, that could look like, for example, for world championships in Uganda, I was able to coordinate being able to see the local hospital and gain a perspective into their healthcare. And they have so much pride in the care that they deliver, even though they have a lot less than what we have here in North America. And so it's being able to learn from other health systems, whether and then just really learn from each and every opportunity. So I love going to small knit conferences. I love going to TED Talk style conversations where it's just opening up my perspective and my thoughts, even outside of healthcare. What is happening in these different areas of business and avenues, and how can I bring those learnings into what I'm doing here for Health Code Medical?
Mhm, mhm. You know how they talk about good product market fit? For the most part, we're talking to guys here in the lab, Lisa. We're talking to guys that are transitioning, stuck in life. We're talking to guys that are getting to the next stage in life and so forth. You talked about being curious, and it's this trait and it's a value of yours that you cherish.
Mhm.
What kind of advice do you give to some of these business leaders we're talking to or retired athletes we're talking to about being curious and moving to that next stage in their transition?
Mhm. What a great opportunity for that next chapter of your life to be even better than the one that you just experienced, because now you have all that knowledge and that you've gained along the way. For me, the future decades are only going to be more enriching than the previous. And just to have an athlete that's performed at a very high level, how are those skills transferable into business, to sport? How can you give back to sport? And how can you be a positive influence in the world and not just somebody looking for that cheap win or that this, that? It's somebody that's been, have a legacy. And so, what I think is so extraordinary is individuals that are creating that next chapter in their life, for better or for worse. So, whether they're a CEO that maybe the company has gone in a different direction and they've decided to let go of that person, or a professional athlete that no longer was selected for that team. Okay, yes, we feel like this is how we define ourselves. My life is over. Or we can say, okay, this happened to me, this door is shut, but other doors are going to be opened with the right mindset, and look at all the tools in my toolbox I bring with me. And I've been grateful to have this extraordinary athletic and professional career thus far, and I feel it's all this building blocks as well as intertwining into, I think, something hopefully impactful for the greater good.
I've often said, Lisa, that in a world of AI and easily obtainable knowledge, uh, the value that these wrinkles on my forehead and the gray hair on my head, and to all the guys that are listening right now, has never been higher, right? Because it's that experience and that knowledge and that those learnings that we've had that perhaps AI can't replace right now. You follow me?
Exactly. So what we're realizing with AI is anybody can be taught a skill. A skill can,
Mhm.
a computer can produce a skill, chat GPT, a robot. Okay, so that means we need to retool or recalibrate. So yes, you were known for your skill, but if you actually take a step back, it's not the skill itself. Yes, you have proficiency in that skill. It's actually how you've navigated those tough times and how you've overcome these challenges. And so that is the lived experience that a computer can't give you. So that's why I think these leaders that, or professional athletes or folks that feel like, oh, I'm in my 60s, am I just washed up now? No, you're ready for prime time,
Mhm.
because the world is only becoming more complex. And we need the mentorship and leadership from those individuals to then help foster that true sustainable efforts in terms of companies.
Mhm.
And so for myself, I have individuals I draw on that have more years of experience than I do. And that's where that mentorship comes from, is I'm learning from lived experiences from somebody with 30 more years than I have, to say, okay, what did you navigate? Even though it's a different period of time, a lot of the same challenges come up within those cycles.
Those human challenges, right? Those
Mhm.
human things that we all encounter as human beings have never had more value because knowledge is largely commoditized now, to your point, right? Skills
Mhm.
are largely readily available with AI, which leads me to this question. AI is the thread that we weave into many of our shows, many of our conversations here in the lab. And Lisa, you are building a business that looks into the future.
Mhm.
AI does a wonderful job helping with looking into the future. So
Mhm.
how have you weaved that technology into your business and how do you see it
Mhm.
weaving into your business over the next 3 to 5 years?
Mhm. It's only going to enhance. And the more technology, whether it's through blood testing, imaging, wearable technologies, is going to give us a further window into your specific health and provide that precision health status. So, where are we in terms of that health status and being able to navigate? So, we see health as an asset class. And because of that, we have short and long term goals, and we're able to advise and navigate the individual through that. There are many factors that affect our health. There's toxins in our environment, there's stressors, there's so many things that make up our health, and our health is never static. And because it's always changing, we need to be able to adapt with it. So we are very fluid in our ways to be able to support our patients, but while not losing sight of their ultimate goal. So if their goal is to lose a significant amount of weight or to really get off the need for those diabetes meds, to really shift that trajectory, okay, that's your goal and we're going to get you there, but we're also going to navigate through every twist and turn with you. You get sick, maybe it's long COVID, this happens, so you have extra stresses at work. And being able to have a model of care and a team that moves with you, I think is really what creates sustainable change.
Mhm, mhm. Do you use ChatGPT in the office?
I've only used it twice. I can't figure the thing out, but no, we don't use ChatGPT, but I'm sure one day it will be something I employ. Healthcare is very personal. And so while there is all this technology out there, it's still very siloed, number one. And number two, it still doesn't have that personal touch. Yes, our blood is the same color. Genetically, we're made up differently. But then there's also another layer that the technology can't tell us. So it can tell us genetically, Keith, you are this X, Y, and Z. You're predisposed to that. We see you have these underlying conditions. And I'm sure ChatGPT could give you a full layout of what you should do for the next year to achieve your ultimate goal. But there's that personalization piece. There's the feelings that otherwise you need a team to be able to support you and to be able to provide that level of expertise. And so we are able to do that in a comprehensive way, but then something that's also tangible for our patients.
Mhm. I wondered, so I would invite you to try ChatGPT on your iPhone, but
Okay.
in a perspective where you're talking to it. Because
Hmm.
I would invite you to pause and enjoy that experience for what it's worth. And I'm going to suggest to you that you might not put it down. And
Mm.
you might find that it becomes a tool you weave into your practice. I find it is very personal. It is a real wonderful way to engage with. I'll use it. It's funny because when I was talking with the fellow, I was talking with Matt, one of my guests last week. He kept referring to oh yeah, Ian Miner. Ian, Chat GPT was he to him actually. But when I'm talking to Chat GPT, I find it can be very personal, Lisa. I can have an
Mhm.
engaging conversation. I'm certainly not dismissing what you and I both value, which is the human connection, but it's certainly, listen, I don't get a lot of time with my doctor or a preventative healthcare person, right? It's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, then it's done. I'm able to really have an ongoing conversation with my agent
Mhm.
to fill the gaps in for me. Do you follow me?
I think there is certainly value to have technology such as ChatGPT in our healthcare model.
Mhm,
We are an annual membership, and so we are there for you throughout the year.
mhm,
We have an annual medical that does that, the standard pieces, the cancer screenings. We do a lot around neurocognitive declines. The brain is the one organ we can't transplant, so we have to take really great care of it. And so we do a lot around brain health, as well as what you'd expect from a physical, a stress test, layers like that. And then we overlay this personalization piece. So if you want to do a deep dive into cancer screening or a deep dive into an area of interest, do I carry the gene for Alzheimer's? We're able to really deep dive into those area focuses for individuals. And then once we receive the report from the medical, we support you throughout the year. We have a health coach, nutritionist, longevity coach, and then access to the medical team, such as the physician and nurse. It's almost like your own personal team throughout the year that's able to navigate with you. You do have your Aura ring and different wearable technologies. And if the team is able to have access to that information, it enables us to be able to support our members from afar. And we've been able to prove that, given majority of our members are not from British Columbia and many not even from Canada. And so we are doing something different. We're in a unique space, and we're a boutique offering that's just looking at functional medicine and early detection and approaching it a little differently than some of the other businesses out there. And like you had said, there's new technologies emerging every day, and we're constantly bringing those in. So, from a blood test standpoint, we're bringing in global testing. So, we're not just using blood testing from Canada or the US, we're also bringing in blood testing globally. And so that enables healthcare as a true global market. So, what is the best in class? Assessment tools, testing, imaging, and how can we really do a great deep dive into your health and then be able to inform the path forward?